So if you're a homeowner over 55 in Buford, Georgia, you're probably sitting on a whole lot of home equity, which is great. But when it's time to sell, you're going to face a huge choice, one that could seriously mean the difference between a fast, easy sale and months of just waiting. Let's break down how you can make the absolute best decision for you. And that brings us right to the heart of the matter, the core dilemma every single seller faces. Should you go for speed and get it sold quickly, or do you hold out for every last penny, for that absolute top dollar? This isn't just some abstract idea. This is the one decision that's going to shape your entire selling journey. We call this the $30,000 question, and for good reason. That's literally what can be on the line. I mean, look at this. A strategy focused on speed could have you closed in a month or less, and you'd walk away with a really solid 95 to 98% of your asking price. But if you're aiming for max price, you're looking at a 3 to 4 month process to maybe get that 98 to 103%. That's a massive difference in both your time and your money. Okay, but before we can even begin to weigh those options, we have to get real about the numbers. It's so easy to get excited about that big equity number in your home, but it's absolutely crucial to remember your equity is not the same as cash in your bank account. Let's dig into what you'll actually walk away with, your true net proceeds. Let's use a real-world example here based on Buford's median home price. Just imagine your home is valued at, say, $486,000, and you've got about $100,000 left on the mortgage. That gives you a gross equity of $386,000, right? That's the number that feels amazing, the one you start planning your next chapter around. But the number that truly, truly matters is your net proceeds. This is the actual cash you get at the closing table after every single cost is paid out. We're talking commissions, closing costs, taxes, the whole shebang. So where does all that money go? Well, as you can see, that initial equity pie gets carved up pretty fast. A big slice, no surprise, goes to commissions. Another pretty big chunk goes to all those other closing costs and fees. Here in Georgia, these transaction costs can easily eat up about 7 to 10% of your equity. And so, after all is said and done, that exciting $386,000 figure turns into something closer to $352,000 in actual cash in your pocket. Getting your head around this from the very beginning is the absolute key to avoiding any nasty surprises at closing and making a really smart decision. All right, now that we have a handle on the financials, let's talk about timing. Because in real estate, the clock starts ticking the very second your home hits the market. And believe me, those first 2 weeks, that's when you have all the power. In the first 14 days, you get this frenzy of activity. About 70% of all your showings are going to happen right in this window. It's wild. But after about day 30, something shifts. Buyer skepticism starts to creep in. And by the time you're past 100 days on the market, your listing can become what we call stigmatized. And that skepticism, it has a direct impact on your wallet. There's a super clear connection here. Homes that sell in under 25 days consistently get 98 to 103% of their list price. But once you've been sitting on the market for over 100 days, that number drops all the way down to 90 to 93% of what you originally asked for. Time really is money. It really just boils down to psychology. For that first month, your house is this hot, desirable opportunity. After that, buyers start asking themselves, if this house is so great, why hasn't somebody else bought it yet? And that one question can just completely destroy your negotiating power. Okay, so we've laid out the challenges, I know. But now, let's get into the good stuff, the solutions. Think of this as your strategic toolkit. These are proactive steps you can take to get the most out of your sale and protect yourself from those common headaches, no matter which path you choose. First off, not all pre-sale fixes are created equal. You want to focus on the high-return moves. I mean, a simple coat of neutral paint can literally double your money back. Professional staging, yeah, it costs a bit more, but it can actually lift your final sale price by up to 15%. And don't forget curb appeal. Some smart updates out front can shave weeks off your time on the market. Getting an offer is super exciting, but it is not the finish line. With about 14% of contracts falling through, you have to play a little defense. First, cut down that financing risk. Ask for a full underwriting letter from the buyer, not just a simple pre-approval. Second, be ready for that appraisal with solid sales data to back up your price. And third, think about a pre-listing inspection to find and fix any issues on your own terms. Now, pricing. This is where so many sellers go wrong. Let me be clear. Overpricing is the #1 mistake, and it's guaranteed to add months to your sale time. But you can use psychology to your advantage. Price just under a key search number, like at $499,900, and you'll pop up in way more searches. You can even price a little below what similar homes sold for to spark a bidding war that drives the final price way up.
All right, we've talked about the numbers, the clocks, and the tools, so now let's pull it all together into a really simple framework that's going to help you choose the right path for your specific situation. This is where we make sure your selling strategy actually fits your life. So I want you to ask yourself 4 really important questions. First one, do you have a hard deadline? Like a non-negotiable, gotta be out by date. Maybe it's for a job, a health reason, or you're already under contract on your next place. If the answer is yes, that's a huge point in favor of a speed-focused strategy. Question 2, what about financial pressure? Are you in a spot where you might have to pay for 2 different properties at the same time? Those carrying costs, we're talking 2 mortgages, taxes, insurance, utilities, they add up to thousands of dollars a month, fast. That often makes a quicker sale the smarter financial move, even if it's for a slightly lower price.
Okay, now for question 3, be really honest with yourself about your home's condition. Is it truly in premium, updated, move-in ready shape? Because to get that absolute top dollar and have buyers fighting over it, your home really needs to be a showstopper. If it is, then yeah, a maximum price strategy is definitely on the table.
And finally, a personal question about your own patience. Do you have the financial and emotional bandwidth to wait, say, 4 to 6 months for that perfect offer to come along? A long selling process can be really draining. If you just don't have that kind of time or energy, that's a clear signal to lean towards a faster, more certain sale.
So here's how it all comes together. It's actually pretty simple. If you answered yes to those first 2 questions, the ones about deadlines and paying for 2 homes, your situation is screaming for a speed strategy. If you said yes to the last 2, about your home's amazing condition and your own patience, then going for max price makes a lot of sense. And if you're like a lot of people with a mix of answers, a balanced approach is probably your best bet.
And this really brings us to the most important thing to remember through all of this. It's so easy to get caught up in the market news and what your neighbors are doing, but at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself this one final question. Is your selling strategy built to impress the market, or is it built to serve your life? The right choice is always, always the one that aligns with your personal goals.